I want you to listen to this story very carefully. Not because it's rare, but because it happens every single day. Imagine you are making decent income. You are paying all your bills. You are doing everything you are supposed to do. And then one emergency completely changes your whole life. Listen to what this nurse sent me. Hey, can I be real with you for a second? 6 months ago, I thought I had it completely together. I was pulling in $4,200 a month as a nurse, living life. Then my car transmission blew out. $3,800. I only had $400 in savings, so it went straight onto a credit card. 2 weeks later, my landlord jacked up my rent by $250. And then my hospital cut my hours. Suddenly, I was standing in the grocery line, doing panic maths and putting food back. I stopped picking up unknown calls because I knew it was debt collectors. My credit score crashed by 90 points. Honestly, man, the shame is heavy. How did I go from a responsible adult with a good job to Googling food banks near me at 2 a.m. in the morning? It happened way faster than I could imagine. Yeah, I know it can never happen to you, right? But before you judge him, ask yourself this question. If you had an emergency and maybe your car has some issues that cost $4,000, can you right now at this moment cough out $4,000 to repair that car? Because if your answer is no, you are probably closer to this nurse's situation than you think. The first lesson I want you to take away is that high income is not everything. The nurse might be making a decent income of $4,200, not too high, but it is not everything. Having an income is not the same thing as financial stability. Some people might have a very high income and may not be financially stable. Another individual may have an average income and may be able to utilize that to build massive wealth. The difference is not how much you get. The difference actually is how much you keep. That's what makes the difference in terms of building wealth. Now, by how much you keep, I don't just mean saving it for the rainy day. I mean, how can you use your money to make more money? How can you multiply your money? How can you invest your money? Now, let's go to the second lesson. Did you guys notice something? The car transmission issues didn't ruin him. The issues with his rent didn't ruin him. The reduced hours in the hospital didn't ruin him. None of these things actually ruined him by itself. But you know what? Almost all these things coming at the same time brought about the emergency that almost destroyed his mental health. This is how financial emergencies do come up. They might not come up gradually, but it might just be several small issues coming up at the same time. And before you know it, it becomes overwhelming. This is why several financial experts out there always tell people about having their emergency funds. It's not because it is exciting, it's not thrilling, it's not something that brings massive joy, but essentially, it saves time. It saves you the stress, the mental stress and financial stress that happens when all these emergencies creep up. Every one of you that has emergency fund will appreciate it as a saving grace when there's a lot of financial dangers around. You know, when you have the emergency fund, things that could have been emergencies, like financial emergencies, things that can be a financial make or break, would just be like an inconvenience, just like a pinch. Why? Because you have emergency fund during the rainy days. Imagine if this nurse had this emergency fund, 6 months, 1 year of expenses. All these issues he had, they don't cost much. Emergency funds would have taken care of all this. But sadly, he doesn't have. Now let's talk about his use of credit card. Using credit card, was it bad? No. But the issue comes when you allow the debt to carry over. You don't pay it in due time. You allow it to carry over. And that's how one emergency becomes a lifetime of debt. So you can use credit card in this kind of situations. But when you don't have enough backing, financial backing to pay it off on time, then that becomes an issue. That credit card, which would have been used to resolve an issue then, will cause more issues in the future. So that is why everyone out there who uses credit card needs to be careful. And that is why it is still very much important to have your emergency fund very liquid so that when you need it, you can easily draw it out. Don't put your emergency funds in a high risk investment, or don't put your emergency funds in a house where you cannot liquidate it when you actually need it. Here is one part that really even stood out to me in his story. He said he was even avoiding picking up unknown calls because he knows he's owing different people. He was in debt. Now, what can we deduce from this situation? He's now living in fear. Because of this one or two or three financial issues, he is now living in fear. Yeah, thinking about it, it's quite sad. But one thing I want everyone to understand and take note of is money issue, financial crisis. It doesn't just stay in the bank account. It affects your life. It affects your mental health. It could affect your marriage and even your confidence. So that is why it's important that you have a solid backing, a solid shield against financial crisis. I don't know if the nurse who sent me this story is listening right now, but if you're out there, stop blaming yourself. Learn from what happened and don't waste energy punishing yourself. Write down every debt, every balance, every interest rate, every minimum payment. Because clarity beats avoidance. This is not a time to start running away. This is not a time to dwell in fear. You need to write all these things down. The next thing I want you to do, create a simple budget for yourself. Not based on your past life, not based on your past salary, based on your current situation, your inflow and your outflow. Clearly create the budget, write it out. You understand? Write it out, not for the income you're supposed to earn next month, not for the past, not for the future, your current situation at the moment, based on the income you're earning. Then imagine you are starting from the scratch all over again. Build your emergency fund. You don't have to set the bar too high. Aim towards saving $500. When you get there, increase it. Aim towards saving $1,000. When you get there, increase it. Aim towards your first 3 months of expenses. When you get there, 6 months and 1 year, I bet you if you do this in the long run, your mental health will say thank you. Your mental health will appreciate you for a job well done. And remember, while you are doing this, you need to also be paying up your debt. Do you understand? So that's why you are not going to put like a high bar for emergency fund, because at the same time you will be paying off your debt. And as the debt is clearing, you can be increasing your goal of the emergency funds with time. The big mistake people make is, oh, they think this can never happen to me. Don't be deceived. Financial crisis can happen to anyone. It's not a respecter of man. It doesn't care if you're into business, it doesn't care if you're a doctor, an engineer, a teacher, or a personal trainer. It doesn't care. Financial emergencies don't ask how much you earn. They just happen. It's part of life. And you just have to be ready to weather the storm when it comes. So the question is, how ready are you? Please take note of this. Real financial freedom is not just about driving the expensive car or living in the most expensive houses, buying that designer clothes or earning six figures. It's not just about that. It's about having that peace to know that no matter the financial storm that comes your way, you have that financial backing to weather that storm. That is what is the true financial freedom. Any other definition of financial freedom is not practical and is a counterfeit. If this story taught you something today, share with other people who think just earning big, earning a massive income will make them financially secure. And if you're serious about building wealth, avoiding debt, and preparing for life's unexpected moments, do well to subscribe to this channel. Every week, we'll break down real financial situations. And more importantly, you'll get the practical steps to protect your future.